Hey everyone, I bet you haven't heard this in your church or won't hear it in your church, but Jesus was a badass. He was a radical, kind of a Robin Hood type figure who stood for the common people, the oppressed, against the religious system of his day and the people who ran the system and governed it. And he called them a den of thieves and snakes and accused them of stealing widows' houses and loading heavy burdens of doctrine and traditions and rituals on the people, and actually keeping them from finding the kingdom of heaven. So it's no wonder that they hated him, and they always sent spies to try to catch him in his words and try to trap him up, because if they could get him to blaspheme, they could stone him to death. Well, one day Jesus was teaching, and an expert in the law of Moses stood up to try to tempt him and test him and catch him in his words. And so he asked Jesus, he said, "Teacher, tell me, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" And it was a trap. He was trying to trick him. And Jesus just said, "Well, what do you think? What did Moses say?" And the lawyer goes, "Well, Moses said that we are to love God with all our heart, soul, strength, and mind, and we're to love our neighbor as ourselves." And Jesus said, "You're right, do that." And the lawyer, he wasn't expecting that. He was expecting a long debate. So he's in front of all these people and he tries to justify himself and says, "Well, who is my neighbor?" So Jesus said, "Well, there was a man who was going from Jerusalem to Jericho, and thieves jumped out and beat him up real bad, stole everything he had, and left him unconscious along the side of the road. Well, a priest came by, and he saw him and thought, 'Oh, I'm too busy. I got to get back to the temple and be about the works of God.' So he passed on by. And next came a Levite, and the Levites were people that had dedicated their whole life to serving God in the temple. And same thing, I've got to be about God's work. I can't be, help this guy." So next came a hated Samaritan. And the Samaritan had compassion on him and bandaged his wounds and gave him some water and put him on his donkey and took him to an inn and told the innkeeper, "Take care of him, and when I return, if you need more, I will pay you more for him." So Jesus asked the lawyer, said, "Which of these three was a neighbor of the man who was beat up and robbed?" And the lawyer said, "Well, it's the man who had compassion." And Jesus said, "Well, go and do the same." Now, in telling this parable, Jesus was not only smacking the religious establishment in the face, because they were the ones, the priests were the ones that were telling, "Oh, the Samaritans are evil because they don't worship God like we do." But he was also giving us how we can totally get rid of all religion. If we just did loving God, love our neighbor as ourselves, if we ever evolved to that status where we can do that, well, we won't need seminaries or churches or Bibles or anything else. We can get rid of them all, because love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love fulfills all of the law. And if we ever get to that, we will find heaven here on earth. We'll find the kingdom of heaven within ourselves, and the world will change. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.